so that because I want to try and stick as close to timings as possible, because there's a lot to do. These don't take too long. Excellent. That's on. So I'll just double check that. Yep, that's all now working nicely. So hopefully people might join us in the next few minutes, but we will start dead on 7 o'clock because we've got quite a bit to get through. So hopefully people will then just come in and join us as the meeting goes on. But as you say, this new technology, for a lot of people, they're not used to it. Here we go. One more. Stuart. Oh, here we go. Stuart's joining us.
I've been here for a couple of minutes, actually, Peter.
No, different Stuart.
All right, sorry.
Stu. We'll say Stu. You're Stuart, not Stu.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay. Well, thank you, Stu, for turning up, because this is your time off, isn't it? Moment. You're on mute at the moment. So I'll ask to unmute.
Hello there, can you hear me?
Hi, yes.
Fantastic.
Thanks for joining us this evening, because I understand this is your day off.
It is, yeah, not a problem at all. That's absolutely fine.
No, that's no problems. That was really good. So I'm just got about a few more seconds and wait till exactly 7 o'clock and then welcome everyone and then get going with this meeting. All right. Okay. Just watching the countdown for the 7 o'clock. It always goes slower when you do this.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben. Okay, it's now 7 o'clock. Going to start the meeting on time. I'd like to welcome everyone to the annual meeting of the parish, and I'd like to welcome all those who are now watching on YouTube as well. So we're getting a bigger audience now. So we have more and more people coming on with lots of different means. So hopefully we can get this to continue. Some like it, some don't. But without further ado, now, Francis, you've got some minutes for approval.
Hi, yes, I have, Peter. They're very simple. They relate back to 1st of April 2019.
Yeah,
if you can remember that.
Yes.
Far back. And I sent those to the councillors. Basically, they're very simple minutes. It just basically approved the minutes of the 14th of May 2018. And just basically, you gave a report, Margaret gave a report, and there were reports from various clubs, and that's it. So there was no detail in that.
Unless anyone has any objections, we're quite happy with those minutes.
Yep.
You know, they're just covering what happened 2 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, formality, really.
Yes. Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to start by giving an address to everyone. Thank you for joining us for our annual parish meeting. It is a solemn time with the passing of His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Over the years, I met him on several occasions, but the time I remember most is when I was attending a gold award ceremony. He filled the room with laughter when he spoke with my students. He had a way of putting people at ease. His focus was on their achievement, not the adults in the room. His devotion to his service to our Queen and our country will be sorely missed. I would ask that we have 1 minute's silence to mark the passing of His Royal Highness, the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Thank you. The last year has been a difficult one, and it is likely we may have lost family members, close friends, or someone we know to the pandemic. This time last year, our community rallied together, supporting those in need. The light is now at the end of the tunnel as we move forward. With this in mind, I want to cover several topic areas of what has been achieved and the direction the Parish Council, I hope, will head in the future. So let us look back at what's been achieved over the last 5 years. We have a neighbourhood plan to help shape and focus development in our community. South Norfolk Council will be paying for the building of a new village hall with a contribution from us. I have been working with Persimmon Homes and South Norfolk to deliver the hall finished within the next 2 years, subject to planning approval by Christmas 2021 and completion of the land transfer. This is an ambitious target, but it is achievable if there is a will. We have a safe crossing point at the church, funding for extra trees in the churchyard. We have a trod along Church Lane and an extended 30-mile-an-hour zone along the road. We installed a new covered bus shelter on Derham Road. We have now sold land on Derham Road, which will bring in over £1 million for our community. We have worked with Highways England to secure a safe crossing of the A47. Its design will reconnect our community while, my apologies, someone's just come in. We have worked with Highways England to secure a safe crossing of the A47. Design will reconnect our community while stopping over 4,800 cars a day, blighting the lives of the residents of Lower Easton. We have installed 3 defibrillators and provided guidance to the community on how to use them. We are installing bollards to stop verge parking close to the school. We completed phase 1 of redeveloping the village hall, the village field, the playing field, Jubilee playing field, and we'll have this vital amenity completed before the start of the summer term. In fact, we're starting it on the 26th of April. We could never stop the major development of Easton. This was decided before our time in office. But what we have done is help shape its future design and layout. It will even have garages that you can park a car in. I know, a novel concept in many new homes. We removed the use of unsafe shared roads from this development and proved that developers, district and county council will listen to parish councils. There are many more examples of what has been achieved, but time is limited, so the future. As of May, I will be standing down as chair of the parish council, and I will leave it to others to take this village forward. I have learnt that you can only please 50% of the residents 50% of the time. What is clear is that my work on the council these past years has been guided by my overarching principle of helping as many in the community for as much of the time as has been possible, whilst disabled, a wheelchair user with a life-limiting medical condition. There have been hugely disappointing examples recently of attacks against myself and staff by parishioners seemingly motivated by personal agendas and putting their self-interest rather than others first. For the council, it must always be the village first. Easton has a neighbourhood plan which puts the village first because that's what people wanted so badly, and which 90% of the village supported when it was adopted in 2017. The parish council will make no apologies for defending Easton against anyone, individuals, corporates or agencies who by their words and actions think they can ignore the community they allude to support or be part of. It is now up to others to put the work in, to move the village forward. There are vacancies on the parish council, but please only apply if you are willing to put the time into the role. The role of parish councillor in Easton is a demanding one. It is not just to get round a table once a month. This is a very busy parish with huge changes taking place. For the future, the village needs to replace the bus shelter next to the Orbit development, repaint the bus shelter by the bed and breakfast, design traffic calming measures for Deerham Road and Marlingford Road, work with Persimmons to deliver phase 2 to 4 of the master plan for Easton under EAS 1, ensure delivery of the new village hall, work with Orbit to deliver its development. The list is extensive, but if the work is put in, the village will come through this change over the next 10 years in line with the vision that was created within the Eastern Neighbourhood Plan. One of my last acts as chairman is to announce that I will be requesting the Parish Council to set up the Eastern COVID Recovery Fund. This fund will be designed to help village organisations that directly support the community with grants to get back up and running. I will be asking for £10,000 to be set aside for this fund. I envisage that we will be offering grants of amounts from £50 up to £2,500 on a match funding basis, with grants under £200 not requiring match funding. I will be looking that funding applications can be made from the 1st of June, with grant applications considered in the first week of August and the first week of November. This is going to require a lot of work in the meantime to set up. So if anyone in the community has experience in this area and wants to help, please get in touch. Full details of the Eastern COVID Recovery Fund will be made available on the Parish Council website as soon as we can. I'm sad to announce that for personal reasons, Francis is stepping down as our parish clerk to take a sabbatical, but will remain as the parish's responsible financial officer with immediate effect. I am, however, pleased to advise that Gina Lopes will be taking over the role of parish clerk and proper officer of the council. Gina is a very experienced professional who will cover the period Francis is on sabbatical. Gina is contracted to provide 15 hours of support per week to the parish council. The contact number and email address will remain the same. However, we will be looking to change the address for written correspondence shortly. Gina will be available Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. until midday. Thank you for listening. I want to hand over to take a report from Margaret, please. You're muted at the moment.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. I printed it off and it's in small print, so I might be a bit like this. I've been a bit busy. So last year, I wrote my annual report in April, and I finished it by saying, dealing with the coronavirus has completely disrupted the council's work and budget plans. We've responded to current needs, and like everyone else, we have no idea how long this will continue or when we'll be able to get back on track. I don't think any of us imagined that we would not be emerging from this for a full year. So this is a full year on. We'll be balancing the budget this year because the government has assisted with the financial demands from the pandemic, and it's been a very difficult and different year with lots of needs. For the last year, staff have been working, and this is county council staff, have been working from home, and many who had face-to-face roles which had to cease have been helping with other services or the NHS or whatever needed to be done to help local people and businesses. They've delivered medicines and groceries, helped with testing and vaccinations, and answered phone calls for assistance. The fire service has driven ambulances, taught others to drive ambulances, and set up and run the new mortuary when they were not sufficient to cope. Museums, libraries, records office were closed, but they set up and ran virtual visits, activities, and assisted with the well-being of children and adults sitting at home doing nothing by providing all sorts of activity. Adult Learning put their courses online and developed many new ones to help people who'd lost their jobs develop new skills and acquire qualifications, as well as provide activities to support people's mental health and well-being. The council funded and distributed 5,000 laptops and tablets for children who needed them to do schoolwork at home, and art packs that also helped to keep them occupied and interested. Libraries set up a phone line to support families who were struggling with home learning and how to use the new digital devices. Customer services has assisted with the test and tracing to warn people who have unknowingly been in contact with people with COVID, and we believe this service will need to continue for at least another year from now. The council's usual work continued maintaining roads, supporting vulnerable adults and children, and responding to emergencies such as the flooding during the winter. The Norfolk Strategic Flooding Alliance has been set up to identify causes of some of the flooding and to help rectify them, and 1.5 million has been put aside to help towards that. Libraries are about to open again. Recently, they've assisted people to complete the census online and will be stocking the natural flow tests in libraries and also on mobile libraries when they start coming round again. So when people need tests, they will be able to access them. The new grant scheme called Go Digital was launched in December to enable micro, small and medium-sized businesses to get better use of digital technology by providing funding and one-to-one support and advice to help support the local economy. Work has begun on 2 new recycling centres, one to the north and one to the south of Norwich. The nearest one will be the one at the Harford Park and Ride site. And there are also some major road schemes about to start at Great Yarmouth, Downham Market and Stalham. And the Long Stratton bypass has also been agreed. The Members Highway grant, which was 6,000, has been increased by another 4,000 this year to 10. So that it's extended to include environmental projects. The council has also agreed to plant 1 million trees over the next 5 years to reduce our environmental impact and meet the target of 0 carbon by 2030. Parishes are asked to help identify areas where the trees are required. This is just a brief overview of some of the work of the council, but I'm also around to answer questions and help with any problems that arise. And I do endeavour to attend all parish council meetings, but occasionally I have 2 or more meetings on one evening and can't attend. But the parish clerks do know where to find me, and I'm happy to help in any way.
Thank you very much.
Obviously, the council's done a lot more, but that was a quick resume that I wrote within the last sort of hour.
Sorry, Margaret, must move you off. Yeah, we've run out of time for yourself. Jonathan Barnard from the Easton Gym, would you like to?
Yes, I'll thank you, Chair. I'll keep this very brief. In effect, we have reopened today. Obviously, we, like most sporting clubs, etc., have been affected by the pandemic and the closures, etc. Obviously, we were assisted by the business rates grants, etc., and monies which came through, which helped us enable to sort of get back up and running fully in August. Then only to close in November, then to continue obviously over the latter sort of period through flexi furlough and staff operating, providing Zoom sessions to gymnasts, etc. So we're sort of in a period of consolidation, regrowth really in some respects, because we went through reorganisation in autumn 2019, only to that really sort of come to a grinding height last March. So we know we've got challenges ahead. We've got around about 600 members, we've got 7 full-time staff, we've got plans to grow and expand, etc. But at the same time, we've got challenges in relation to finances and also in relation to improvements required to the exterior of the property, car parking, and also improvements required internally to replace aging gym equipment and facilities. So it's great that potentially there is recovery grants there, etc. And we'd like to explore as many opportunities as you can to improve the facilities. Both we're in the club and also we're in Easton as well, to make sure, obviously, with the growth of residential, etc., and the potential SEND school next door, etc., that we can offer services in line with that, particularly on the disability side. So
yes,
we've got Long Stratton, for example, as a club. We're in the gym at the moment, and it'd be great to explore with them opportunities to increase the disability side of the gyms further as well. So just a quick update, because I know obviously time is precious. So
yeah, thank you very much indeed. And I think the grant scheme will be able to look towards helping you. You just got to get it all designed.
Yes, well, we've got match funding, so that's fine.
Yeah.
So it'd be great to explore that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I then just quickly go to Stu? Do you want to say a couple of things, and then you're attending the main meeting, and then cover most of the parking issue at the main meeting?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'd keep it very, very brief then. Just going on to our last 3 months crime figures mainly. As you'll see in a minute, I'll just quickly run through these. It won't take too long. There's not been a lot of crime, to be honest with you, which is good news. Just going through our priority crime or volume crime: arson 0, antisocial behaviour 0, burglary, which is both business and community and dwellings 0, which is really good. Criminal damage 4, which I'll talk to you more on next meeting, if it's okay with you.
Yeah.
Domestic violence 1, which again, obviously I don't want 1 to be there, but again, it's quite encouraging. Hate incident, which is the big one for us, 0, which is fantastic. We've got drugs 0, possession of weapons 0, public order 2, which is like your public order offences, and the last one's a 0, which I'll quickly run through: robbery, theft from a motor vehicle, theft or unauthorised taking of a motor vehicle, theft of pedal cycles, and theft from a person, which are all 0. So in summary, Easton is a very safe place to live at the moment, and hopefully it will carry on.
Yes, that's good. Okay, so if we could go across to Rebecca Newman, please, of Easton St Peter's Primary Academy.
Well, do you want me to do this one, Becky?
I was going to say I'll hand over to Mary, because she's got the report. So
okay,
it's from us both.
All right,
but Becky will chip in if she has anything to add. Right. Well, throughout all the lockdowns and even through some of the traditional holiday periods, the school has remained open for key workers' children and for others with special needs. At the same time, the teachers have been providing online education, some of it live, some of it recorded, using Zoom and Google Classrooms and other platforms for up to 3 hours a day. There have been regular phone calls to the families to offer support and advice too. There have been cases of COVID during the last year requiring some of the class bubbles to be sent home for necessary periods of isolation. But overall, the systems instigated at the beginning of the year have worked well. And when they have gone home, they then go on to online learning. The governors were concerned about the loss of education for the pupils, but support from the parents and from the children has been amazing. And most children have continued to make good progress. There's been no sign of any breakdown in good behaviour that's been alluded to with the Secretary of State for Education. Pupils and staff were all pleased to be back in school in the second half of last term, and everyone worked hard to restore normality while taking great care to comply with the government regulations to keep everyone safe. This has all come at a cost, which we were not able to budget for, to cover increased hygiene methods and resources connected with online learning. Some of this has been covered by extra government funding, but a lot has not. Devices for children to use at home have finally arrived in the school earlier this year, and those families that needed them have been supplied with them so that they could access the home learning programme the school was offering. We owe a great debt of gratitude to all the staff who've worked long hours and learned new skills to enable them to successfully deliver the curriculum to children at home and to those at school at the same time. Even staff who had to stay at home because they were shielding have delivered lessons online and kept in touch with the families of their pupils. The governors have conducted our meetings on Zoom, and we've seen presentations from school staff about how they're delivering the curriculum, which have been very impressive. But we haven't been allowed to go into the schools at all. We have 3 in the Federation. We hope that life is slowly beginning to return to normal, and that by the end of this term, any deficit in learning for any of the pupils will have been filled. Do you want to add anything, Becky?
No, I don't think so. So other than to say that the governors have been very supportive. Mary can't say that, but governors have been very supportive, if only with lemon drizzle cakes and scones and just keeping us all going. So yeah, but a tricky time, but hopefully we're coming to the end of it, and I'm really hopeful that September will see a return to normal. So fingers crossed.
Whatever normal is.
It will be.
It will be.
Okay, Mary, do you want to now go on to the WI?
Yes, well, there's very little to say, really. The WI haven't been able to meet for nearly a year, and it's not been possible to plan for exactly when we might be able to meet. As we're dependent on having a venue to meet in, and the regulations saying we can. We're keeping in touch by phone, email, post, and socially distanced visits to members who don't have the internet. This is obviously not ideal, and we currently do not know whether all our members will be rejoining when they are allowed to meet. Our subscriptions have been reduced for this year, but we have racked up expenses for printing and photocopying, quite large expenses for that, which we would not otherwise have had to pay for. Easton's had a WI since 1953, and we even believe there was one here before that, which disbanded when the war started. I'm hopeful we'll be able to continue, but we do need to be able to hold a meeting again, and soon.
Well, hopefully the funds that I'll be asking for today will be able to help you as well as the school. Okay, Michael, the Easton Football Club.
Yeah, for the second, do we start?
Yeah, go.
Yeah, for the second season running, all the leagues have been null and voided, which means we played 9 games at the start of the season for the first team. The reserves are unbeaten in their league, and the Sunday team are top. But the Sunday league has resumed from last Saturday, which is the 3rd of April, and they were hoping to play to a finish. The 2 Saturday teams have both been invited into an offside trust, a return to football, which is organised by the Norfolk FA. The first team are in a group with Halston Town, School United and Yelverton, and the reserves are in a lower group in the central area, which I can't remember all the names offhand. All the county cups are being played to a finish. The first team have got a senior cup match this coming Saturday against Munford. The reserves have already won their second round, which was last Saturday at Hickland, and the Sunday team are also doing the same. Apart from that, we're running 7 teams at the minute, which is 4 adult teams and 3 youth teams. Next season, we've had an application to join the Central Norfolk and South Norfolk League for an A-side, which is a Saturday team accepted. So we will be running 3 Saturday teams and also a new under-10 teams, which will give us 9 teams altogether. And at the minute, we're all playing at Easton College, which is fine. We rent the pitch, which is quite expensive, but at the minute the players are paying to play. Apart from when the first team win, they get a free game, and they have had a few. But we played against the team who were top of the Premier Division in the league. We play in Harleston Town on Saturday, and we were really disappointed to lose 3-2 with a last-minute penalty against us. And that club have got a playing budget of around about £40 per player per game, and we're paying if they lose, and we're competing quite well against them. And so next season we're quite hopeful, and so I've got nothing else to add apart from the fact that if there's any funding available, we would be pleased to explore that avenue.
Yeah, well, we're going to try and put it so that it helps organisations who've been closed down for over a year. Claire, can I pass on to Claire, please? Claire, you need to unmute. Press A.
There we go. That must have been the cat. Sorry for the cat bomb.
It was wonderful.
Thank you for inviting us. Unsurprisingly, this year has not been the most forthcoming in terms of school fundraising, considering that the kids have actually been on lockdown for most of it. However, we have had some successful fundraisers, and we decided to focus on some fun events that would hopefully bring smiles to the families rather than money raisers. We've worked hard to establish regular communication via bi-termly newsletters, and of course online has been a particularly high focus this year. Amongst things we've done, we've joined the school lottery, which brings in £1,000 a year for only 50 tickets sold. That's an ongoing rolling fundraiser. We've also signed up to online fundraising schemes such as Amazon Smile and Easy Fundraising. Anybody can sign up to these, hint, hint. During lockdown, we ran several online events, including free arts and crafts competitions for the children to enter. We did a virtual Valentine's disco and most recently a virtual balloon race as well. Christmas was good. It gave us a chance to treat and surprise the children, as well as some fundraising opportunities. We did a successful rainbow hamper raffle, a Christmas card design where the children designed their own cards and they professionally printed for the parents to buy, and a sweetie tube fundraiser. We also purchased a pantomime for the children to watch at school and donned fancy dress to wish the children Merry Christmas on the last day of term, which was a surprise for them as they came and all stood there in our glam outfits. We were pleased to be able to purchase a large quantity of new books for the school with some money we raised this year. We particularly focused though on using funds to treat the children and to give them some fun things, because we believe that was an unprecedented priority this year. We're not yet committing to any large events, but this month we've got plans for another non-uniform day to coincide with Earth Day at the end of the month, and there's an egg decorating competition tomorrow. We're also doing a family photo shoot in May and another raffle in June. And we hope to put together a sponsored children's colour run for the children in July, and possibly a lockdown rescue book. We hope that next year we'll be able to run some of the more traditional events like summer fairs and things like that. We'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Parish Council for their support, and for the wider community. Your support is invaluable and very much appreciated and needed for our children. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Marilyn.
Oh, I'm here. I'm quick. There isn't much to report this year, as there was no bowls last year due to the COVID. But still, we had to maintain the green during the summer months and well into the autumn. This season, we were in 3 leagues, but we're now only in 2 because one of the leagues has dropped out for this year. They aren't got to do it because there's so much regulations and all that to do. So we're just in 2 leagues now this year, and we should start in May the 6th or 7th, something like that. The government guidelines. We got to do all that, you know. What with no games coming in last year, unless this season, our club is struggling a little bit, you know. So that's all I got to say. We got 25 members. And because some of them are getting too old to play, really, like us. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, so that's all I've got to say.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that.
If we can get some funding.
Yeah. I think that this is why we're putting this together, because it is important to groups to help them.
Yeah, we still have to pay rent, you see.
I hope my parish councillors are listening and will agree to it later on, but I'm very hopeful they will agree.
Thank you.
So we now need to move on to Rowley.
Oh, see there? He was trying to get there, wasn't he?
Okay, Rowley's just got to unmute himself. There we go.
Well, not too much to say, because as you know, since the first lockdown, the village hall has been shut completely. We've had one or two little minor problems which we've got over. We did manage to get a grant from South Norfolk Council through the first lockdown, which I think was partly government money. We got managed to get a £10,000 grant from them, which they paid into the village hall account, which probably kept us well out of trouble. And in the meantime, while it's been shut, we have completely redecorated and refurbished to put some new chairs in, replace some of the bad ones, and completely repaired and decorated all the outside and had it fully clean. So hopefully June time, with a bit of luck, government allowing, perhaps the village hall may be able to reopen again.
Right.
Once we know when it is, we'll get ourselves to have a meeting, get sorted out when we can all get together, and then let all the different organisations know as from what date they can start trying to come back again.
Yes, I think there's going to be an awful lot of red tape to get through, and not rushing things is the important thing.
Yeah, it just depends really on how much, if you know what has to be done in between different people using it before somebody else can go in. I think that's got to be the hardest thing to get round.
Yeah, it's that cleaning and the type of cleaning that will need to take place.
That's what we need to look at once they tell us, you know, what happened and what got to be done.
Yeah, no, that's we will get it sorted.
If we got to look to the point of having to clean in between everyone, then I don't quite know how that's going to pan out, and how we can get round, you know, paying people to do that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's something that as a parish council we'll try and support the village hall how we can.
Yeah.
Financially. But it's going to be a lot of regulation to get through.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that Margaret will be able to help in that, finding the way through the regulations, so that it's not just our Easton Village Hall, but it's all the village halls to get them up and running again.
Yeah, because I mean, as you know, I think the only time it's been open so far, I think, is due for the elections. I think it'll be open for that, and the other thing was we did have it was used for a week just recently for the testing station, COVID testing.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's great.
Has anything else transpired through this thing of what the discussions I'd had with Francis about the parish council requiring office space? I'm not sure of the discussions that have taken place there, so I think that would sit outside this meeting. Right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next person who's joined us is Dave Martin of Condimentum, and he's going to tell us a little bit about where everything is up to now. You've got about 4 minutes, Dave.
Yeah, first of all, I did leave a message on the phone. I left the factory tonight, everybody, in good time, and there's been a serious accident on the A47, so I thought I'll get home just in time to dial in. So I've been sat in traffic on the A4. I really apologise for that. I know I'm dialing in late here, so
it's all right.
Again, apologies. Yes, I mean, there's two ways I could do this actually, please. I could, spend a few minutes just sharing screens and maybe sharing one or two photographs, or I can just talk you through an update. But if I've got 4 minutes, I suggest that the PowerPoint presentation, which is just more sort of photographic updates and one or two bullet points, it's probably best if I just talk you through that.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Yes, well, again, good evening, everybody, and again, apologies for the issue and the late arrival there. Yeah, I think Peter was just talking to me about the fact that it's been quite a while since I attended one of your parish council meetings, and felt it was a good time, a good idea to give you an update as to how we've progressed. Talk to you about some of the challenges that we've had to overcome, but also what our plans are going forward in terms of future growth plans. But I think first of all, it was a challenging first trading year. As you can imagine, we had not only to install all the equipment, build the factory in what I think was a pretty tight timescale of 12 months, but we also had a fairly significant commissioning program. We had to deal with COVID. I know we've all had to deal with COVID, but it's the sort of thing that you could probably do without in your first trading year. But I'm delighted to say that we've come through the first year much better than we could have hoped, given the serious challenges, as I say, that we had to face. We're really proud of what we've built. Hopefully, you've had a chance to drive past. I think I've mentioned, before that you're more than welcome to visit the factory, and maybe we can coordinate and organise something for you to visit our process, our factory, our facility, which, as I say, we're very proud of. Well, just to put some dimensions and some figures around what we have, we are now processing around about 2,000 tonnes of mustard every year from that factory. In the first year, that's what we processed. We processed around about 1,200 tonnes of mint sauce. Now, you may have seen from the facility some rather large black containers at the rear of the factory. That contains our mint sauce, and we have to process the mint sauce in a mint season, which is effectively 14 weeks. So the mint processing is no more than 14 weeks in every full year. The team itself have done a fantastic job of dealing with the COVID challenges. We've had 100% attendance throughout the whole pandemic lockdown period, and we're delighted that we've come through without any serious performance issues. I think in the first year, I think what's really been helpful is Unilever have been a fantastic support throughout throughout the period. They've been delighted with the response of the Norwich, the Condiments Norwich team in terms of one of their support partners. I think actually we've done extremely well when we compare ourselves against the other Unilever partners and co-manufacturing support facilities. So we're very happy with that feedback from Unilever. I think going forward, remember we signed a 10-year contract with Unilever, and that was always going to underpin the overall business plan, underpin the basis for us to build, and indeed that's what we're focusing on now. We're delighted to say that we've bedded in all of the processes, the mint sauce, the mustard processing facilities, and we're now building for the future. So a lot of my attention and my focus has been on how do we realise that growth. I mean, I think I remember talking to you early on in the initial plan building of this facility, and it was very much about phase one being about supporting Unilever, supporting the Coleman's brand, the iconic brand, for the first 12 to 18 months, and then starting to build on that going forward. We want to become a global supplier of quality ingredients, and that's what we will be focused on doing over the next 3 to 5 years. But what I'm delighted to tell you is that in that first year, not only have we managed to commission and bed in those processes, but we're now heavily into realising a real live plan to realise that growth going forward. Now, it would take me too long to talk to you about where we see specifically those growth opportunities, but we're really excited about what we think we can do with the ingredients that we're processing today.
Okay. Excellent.
In the future, I'll have a chance to talk specifically about how that looks.
One of the things, David, I think to tell the community is about community engagement your company has, because we talk a lot about it between ourselves, but this is the opportunity now to explain to the school and to other groups that you'll happily attend WI meetings and explain things and other groups, but also when times allow, to allow groups to come round and see what goes on. And I was privileged last year to get an opportunity to go round the factory. I did miss out on a section because my wheelchair can't go up the flights of stairs, but I got to see this wonderful video of the processes taking place, and it's fantastic there. And if you're given the opportunity, talk to David about visiting, because Condimentum is not, I'm sounding like I'm a salesperson for yourselves, but I've learned over the last couple of years of dealing with David, is Condimentum is just not about a company that's there just for itself to make profit. It actually does care about the community, and we've had lots of discussions about doing things better. So, David, you might want to explain, some of the.
Yeah, one of the slides. Thanks for that, Peter. But one of the slides that I did had I had slightly more time was to talk to you about how we're going to engage, how we're going to work with partners in the local communities, and that's something that we are really keen to do. I mean, all of the people that we have within the team are, local Norwich-based people, and we've made a point of during any recruitment, we're recruiting for the mid-season. It's local recruitment. Our partners, we've worked with the UEA on a program with their business students to and in fact, to be honest, that's been extremely helpful. One of the slides, as I say, I was going to show you was how we work with the business students within the UEA to help them on a project, on a business project as part of their course, but also to help us in terms of the research, in terms of what those opportunities are going forward. And we'd like to extend that. I've talked to you about John Innes and the research park, the Norwich Research Park, to develop programs to help us realise that, because we want the basic Condimentum to grow and grow beyond where we are today. And we recognise that the best way to do that is to do that locally within the communities, and also with the local level of knowledge and expertise that we have. We're all very proud of the fact that we've managed to retain Coleman's of Norwich in Norwich, and we know that was.
Well, I have to stop you there. It's Coleman's really of Honingham and Easton, not Norwich anymore. Let's get it right.
We've got to get the demarcation lines right here.
Yeah. It's priorities here. Forget Norwich. It's Coleman's of Honingham and Easton.
It's certainly not Coleman's of Burton-on-Trent, which is
no. But no, that's fantastic. If you want stuff, we can put up, and I think that Miss Newman will probably get in touch as well with you, and I will happily supply your details out, because it is an opportunity for people to actually see what you do, but it also gets young people thinking about getting involved in engineering. In so many other skills. There's so many different opportunities out there, whether it's computer sciences or it's all the other STEM subjects that are done. So I think that we work as a community together, we can really take things forward and get young people interested in their future, because we've also now got a vertical farm coming to the food hub, which I'm very much looking forward to meeting the team that are behind that. And hopefully, I think Wednesday or Thursday, I've got a meeting and we'll get to see that. But that's really good. I'm now mindful of time. Has anyone got any questions they want to ask at the moment? Is everyone happy? Okay. Well, what I'll do then is I will close this meeting. There is another parish council meeting, the formal parish council meeting that comes under a different agenda, and that also has a separate login. So those who need that login have got it. I would like to thank everyone for attending tonight. I'd like to thank all those who are watching on YouTube. I hope you found it very useful to find out what's going on in our community and what is happening for the future of our community, and that's really important as well. I'm sure David will go now onto YouTube and catch up on all the bits he missed. Thank you all very much for attending. For some of you, I will see you shortly on another channel. For others, have a good evening. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.